Where there's thunder, there's lightning. John Nada. A lot has happened since the posting of the last video, and I'd like to take a moment to mention the passing of Art Bell. I've always been a big Coast to Coast AM fan, and in part, Art and his program were the inspiration for this channel, as well as my general interest in radio. So if you're not familiar with who Art Bell was, and you're not familiar with Coast to Coast AM, I invite you to avail yourself of that experience and take a listen. When you become a whole, you no longer worry about seeking out someone to fulfill that longing. Instead, you find yourself fighting tooth and nail to prevent anyone or anything from destroying that peace and completeness. Many of us struggled with the fable we had heard from birth. We struggled with things like one-itis. We struggled with that longing to share our life with a woman and build something with them. I'm starting to believe that it is only women who can red pill men, because you have to have had enough women in your life to have had enough of women. But we are told that without a woman in our lives, we will never be happy. Without a relationship, we will not know stability. Apart from fulfilling society's conventions, we have no purpose. It's not unlike the movie The Village. Stay in the village, otherwise the beasts in the forest will get you and will devour you. Don't venture beyond. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. It's interesting to note, when we men are young, we often feel a crushing loneliness, a drive to forge a relationship. And yet at about 30 and on, I find myself, as do others I've known, feeling freer than ever and no longer desiring the shackles of relationships. But 30 for women is a much different reality, a more lonely one. But there will always be those willing to take risks and in turn stupidly make mistakes. Mgtow cannot be forced. It is not a suppository, but rather more like a time-release capsule. Some choose the pump and dump method. In the era of Mgtow, this can be a very dangerous endeavor. It's like trying to be a responsible drug user. Mitch Hedberg tried this, and it ultimately led to his demise. Like with many drugs, there's always a risk of disease. So it goes with women today, as many women have had the body count of an 80s action movie hero. It's interesting how one-itis seems to no longer affect me in my older age. I look at women the way one would a beautiful tiger at the zoo. I can appreciate its beauty of color and form, but from behind the safety of the glass. I know that if I were to enter its lair, I would surely be ripped to shreds. I know that I would not be able to tame a Bengal tiger and turn it into a house cat. In the same way, the modern carousel rider can't become a housewife. But I'm not the only one who has seen these things. Society has taken notice. Marriage is not even a conscious choice anymore in many states. Beware the trick of common law marriage. Knowing female nature brings one immunity to one-itis. Even the physical allure of women has waned for me over the past year or so. When you take a moment to consider that the beauty you survey is simply matter, in the same way a school desk is matter, that her exterior beauty is simply energy condensed to a slow vibration, simply a collection of atoms no different than you. The scales fall from your eyes, and with this, a new challenge faces us. That challenge being the loss of motivation. To me, it means everything to be free, to choose. It means everything to not be beholden to biology. Stardust has a great video discussing intellectually induced asexuality. I think most Mgtow end up at this place at some point. Whether you are in agreement with the sex doll thing or not, I can't help but find an interesting comparison to biological women and sex dolls. Neither will cook for you, love you, support you, connect on any level whatsoever with you, nor ever say anything profound or thought-provoking. What separates a woman from the doll is not in what the doll will do for you, but rather in what the doll will not do. What the doll will not seek to deracinate. The doll will not seek to destroy you spiritually and financially. Mgtow is like water. This is where its strength is displayed. It cannot be targeted. Shaming no longer works, just like temptation cannot reach the ears of the one who is in nirvana. There is no real Mgtow because, like water, the Tao of Mgtow conforms to the vessel it is in. Mgtow flows and erodes away the delusion. It places the choice back into our hands and frees us from convention. Mgtow are having the conversation with one another, without women's input and no worry of being politically correct. We are free to explore the possibilities. Like Alan Watts said, you have nothing to lose but your chains. Go your own way or don't. The choice is yours.